Hey everybody, it's Mr. C. Uh, Watch this video first before you work on the Titanic passenger letter, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to grade you, give you some tips and tricks and examples to make sure that your letter is as good as it could possibly be. All right. Um, First thing is that this letter is a piece of historical fiction. All right. Historical fiction is the facts are real, but the story is made up. Okay. This historical fiction is a little bit further than the Upside Down in the Middle of Nowhere book we're reading, because not only are the facts real, but the characters you guys are pretending to be are also real. So you have a lot of information to go on. Okay. The key things here is that when you're making up the story associated with the passengers, that it makes logical sense. Okay. And that what you're saying the characters are doing is something that could have happened on the Titanic. Okay. So back to our book here. Armani is not a real character. Okay. But the timing of Hurricane Katrina, the neighborhood that they lived in, Lower Ninth Ward, the Superdome, the shelters, those are all things that actually happen to people. So in historical fiction, again, you have to make sure that what is happening to your character is something that could have happened in reality. Okay. You don't know for sure one way or another, but you look at it and say, yeah, this makes sense. Okay. Um, so use your outline from yesterday. Hopefully you still have it on paper. What's the cabin look like? What are you eating? Who are you traveling with? And where are you coming from and where you're going? Those are all the stone cold facts of your person. Okay. Where the fiction part comes in is the what activities are you doing? Okay. Sometimes you might get lucky in the passenger card and it talks about what the person was doing on the ship. So I think it was Mr. Strauss. In the about the passenger section, it said that he spent the night of the 15th of April walking on the deck of the Titanic. So, if you have Mr. Strauss, or maybe if you have another character, um, you can include that activity if it's included in the passenger card. Okay. Um, the second thing I want to say is what you write should reflect the class of the person you're writing about. Okay. So, first, second, and third class citizens and passengers on the Titanic are going to have different experiences and different opinions. Okay. Um, Characters like Molly Brown, who we looked at her list of items, or Mr. Strauss or Mr. Astor, they're extremely rich people. They have probably been in fancy places and on similar boats to the Titanic before. All right. So their opinions of the Titanic are going to differ greatly from someone who's a third class passenger. There are farmers and engineers and tool makers and translators who come from poorer backgrounds, who might see something like the Titanic and be shocked that something like that ever exists. So, where maybe a first class passenger who has a huge room might not be super impressed with their accommodations, a third class passenger with a small place might be thrilled with what they have. Okay. So think about what class and what opinion those people might have. For the third class passengers, especially, this might be a brand new experience for them. Okay. So let's look at some examples that I think are fantastic, and we'll go from there. So these are real life examples that were done by your classmates, and I have permission to read them. Dear Mom and Dad, I was really frustrated at first because I was supposed to go on another ship, but now I'm on the Titanic. Originally, I was fine transferring ships, but when I found out how small the room was for second class, I flipped out. So, in this passenger card for this passenger, Robert Phillips, it says he was scheduled to be on another boat, and for whatever reason, it gets canceled. So, this is a really good example of using truth and using the sources that you have in the letter. I'm coming from Southampton, England, with my daughter Frances Louisa Phillips, and the room is small and not a lot of space to move, but I do have a couch to relax and a bed to sleep and a mirror to see how I look. I do have to admit the food was really good. For dinner, I had roasted potatoes, curried chicken, and roast turkey. After that meal, I was stuffed and I felt like I could last a week without eating. The reason I'm traveling to America is because I'm coming to live with my brother in Brighton, Pennsylvania. Last night, I partied all night with people I met on the ship while my daughter was in her cabin reading her new book she got in England. All right. This seems logically like a letter that this person, Robert Phillips, could have written. Okay, he's expressing his displeasure with the room. He should have been on another ship. And then he even goes to explain why he's traveling, where he's coming from. He talks about the food that he had. Robert Phillips was a real person. Did he experience exactly what was written in the letter? The answer is no. But could he have? And the answer is yes. That's what makes historical fiction realistic. You ask yourself, gee, could this character really have done these things? All right. You need to make it logical. Second example here. Dear mother, it's been a fabulous experience here in Europe. Daniel and I went to France and saw the Eiffel Tower, and I've been waiting for so long since father would not pay for me last year, but I finally saw it again. I'm in my cabin looking at all the pictures we took, and I love them. And also, my cabin is supposed to be the quote biggest on the ship, but it's not even bigger than my father's study and lounge. This person's clearly first class. Okay. She's complaining that the first class accommodations aren't very nice. So she's a little bougie there. At least it has two beds, but that's the best thing about it. Anyway, it's been 2 days since we set sail on the Titanic, and it's been the best ship I've ever been on. Last night I had tried some ox tongue because Daniel loves it, but it was really bad, so I had some lobster a la Newburgh. Tonight I'll be having some boiled rice with spaghetti a la Batiana, salad, and some French ice cream for dessert. I heard from some people that the deck at Southampton, England was so crowded that rumors have spread that someone was pushed into the water. I'm so happy that Daniel and I were one of the first to get on the ship. I can never imagine getting my new dress into that water. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say, so see you in New York. All right. This is pretty clever. All right. My favorite part is this rumor right here. Okay. There is no record of someone falling into the water, but you could imagine a rumor on a boat like that spreading. Oh, it was really crowded on the dock and someone fell in. Okay. So that's a great piece of historical fiction. It makes logical sense. It certainly could have happened, and that's what we're looking for. All right. Couple other things before I show you how I'm going to grade. Okay. One, pick someone that, whoever you're writing to, you could pick whoever you want. Um, Obviously, you would say different things to your mother than you would to a friend. So make sure that it makes logical sense. And please make sure that you are signing the letter. Okay. Yours sincerely, Mary Marvin. All right. You need to include the name of the person in your letter. After you get done writing, you want to hit enter a couple times and do your signature, your signed letter. Okay. Here's how I'm going to grade you. First of all, spelling, punctuation, and grammar. You know my directions on that. As long as it looks like sixth grade writing, everybody's happy. Capitalize proper nouns like Titanic or names. Periods where they're supposed to be, commas where they're supposed to be. I am not a college English professor. If your writing looks like sixth grade writing, you're fine. Use spell check if you need. Description of the cabin. You guys have that in your outline. Okay, so hopefully you transferred that description over. Okay, you could do the description of the cabin in a million different ways. Food and dinner, tell me what is available. All right, and please make sure that your meal matches your class. Okay, if you're third class, don't tell me you're having lobster. It doesn't make any rational sense, and that's not what you should have taken down on your outline. The passenger description. Who is your person? What are they doing? Where are they coming from? Where's their destination? What's their job? As long as you include that in some way in the letter, it's really good. Activities and logical information. I've been talking about this the whole video. Use the passenger card to add any logical information to your letter. Your letter should reflect the character's class and occupation. All right. So I was talking about that at the beginning of the video. First class passengers are going to have a different perspective than third class passengers. So you be creative. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Okay. So that's how I'm going to grade you. Those are my simple directions. Those are a couple really good examples. This letter should really only look like a paragraph. Okay. It's not going to be super long. 7, 8 sentences is usually the average of what I'm expecting. Okay. It is due today on Wednesday, or sorry, today's Thursday. Apologize. It's due on Thursday. So please make sure that you're working hard and you're paying attention. Thanks.